changes. Many a times, what happens is that we have one perspective, client has got another, and we go on colliding on those two perspectives. Don't collide. Rather, in the negotiation, I'm actually ensuring clients' well-being, and that is something which we are talking about. When I'm actually ensuring that, and whole of my narrative is set in that direction, clients are supposed to agree faster. If we are going on using pulls and pushes on opposite direction, our energy will get actually consumed in this particular fashion only. So this is something one has to actually look at. I'm just taking some of the questions from the chat box. I have talked about mindset, so we'll go to the, how do you differentiate between negotiation for the sake of negotiation and real negotiation? Yes, we can do negotiation for the sake of, very good question, Yogesh, appreciate it. Sometimes I don't want to do anything further, right? There is a question which has been there in the this thing that um, uh, there's a question also you have sent me. How to stop negotiating after the last price is given and client expect more discount and client want to engage you in a negotiation. Get engaged. There, negotiation for the sake of negotiation. Get engaged, go on talking without yielding anything. And that is something we should not miss out. Is also an equally here, my objective to the negotiation is that I don't want to yield anything more, but I'm just respecting client's request that yes, he wants to negotiate, he gets the feel that he has done enough. I'm giving that feel. Do not worry about it. Do not worry about it. Don't say that, why are you negotiating now, right? That's something one has to follow there.
But at that point, is it fine to say, at that point, is it fine to say, like, this is the least I can do and, there is not further I can do, or do we keep listening to them and not say that?
See, when you are talking about the reasoning, what you are saying is that he is putting say a demand on that. Ki, I want to reduce this, or I want to get extra services at the same price, etc., etc. And you are giving a reason. Again, you look at it that this opposing principle comes into that. Why should I get into opposing principle? My question is that, okay, you want to get it extra. Here is my another proposal for you, which he may find it, oh, I don't want to go with that path, so this path is okay for me. Let him come to that decision. Are you getting this? I remember my one of the negotiation wherein somebody told me it was a job negotiation, and somebody told me that that you quite early in my career I was getting a job. He said that if you go for a senior position, we can't offer you. We can offer you a junior position, and because junior position offering, these are the pays, etc. I said that okay, junior position is acceptable to me if you give me higher pay. And if you give me higher position, lower pay is acceptable. So what I'm creating a proposal there. Please understand, in the negotiations, are you creating proposals or you are going on to the defense? If you go on defense, you are actually taking the pressure on your side and trying to push it backward, which is a very difficult scenario. So look at it in that way, basically.
Sandeep, one question over here when we are talking about this, just an extension of what we were discussing, is that many a times at the last stage, the client comes saying that your competitor has quoted less than this. If you want to take the job, you have to either quote less than this or get lost. Okay. Or otherwise, when the negotiation comes, it comes off with respect to only a number, like you have to quote a number. When we are telling about, extra services or a proposal, as what you talked about, a counter proposal, they are not ears to it at all. So in that case, how do you handle such things?
Okay. Many times.
Can I just say one thing? Like, before you take this question, of something that I learned from you only. I had a similar situation, Suma, and we know which client we're talking about. So when it comes to the last part, they will say, "Oh, can you reduce it?" Then I told them, "No problem. You want to reduce? Okay, then I'm removing these services from my quote. We can sign on the dotted line. If I remove these services, you get an external contractor. He's going to charge you so much. So you discuss, you decide." And he went back. He didn't say anything, and he signed whatever I had asked for. So we can do that. Like Sandeep said, we have to keep giving them proposals. This I learned from him only, but I'm just telling you an example.
Yeah. See, negotiation doesn't start with the meeting for negotiation, first of all. And what happens is that before you come to actual negotiation, you should preempt all these possibilities. How to preempt? You have to give certain narratives about your other competitors, etc., etc. And when he says that yes, there is a lower price. Yes, I know. I told you in the first meeting itself there will be lower prices which you will be getting, and because of that, this. So what happens? You have already set a narrative. So what I'm saying is that even your social media post, your any appearance in the society, your appearance in the business community, actually you have started negotiation from that point. Only manifestation may be happening in the negotiation meeting, but all the work you have to do beforehand. So when you are actually given so many messages, client is bogged down with those messages. He has got already influence of those messages. So what happens is that he will not be able to push you further. So these are the things we don't do. What we do is that in the negotiation meeting, we want to typically want to get into a lawyer-like arguments, and no, that's okay. That's a small part of it. But all my appearances with the client, all my interactions, have I put those messages? Generally, I say that if you are going for any meetings, your previous meeting should ensure whether you are selected or not is not a great thing. But once you have made the people, others have got rejected already. If you are ensuring that, so even your first meeting with the client, your second meeting with the, when the price is not negotiated, nothing is negotiated. Have you used to fullest advantage is the question. If you have used, you can get the benefits of this in those meetings, which you will find either you say this or that and this thing. And another thing is that never say no. Never say no. You say that this is my price and I will wait. You will come to that particular price. And when you come to that price, I will accept the order. Never say no, no, I will not take it and go. No should never come from your side. No should come from other side. If he wants to reject, yes, he has got all the options and he can reject that. But no should come from his side, not from you. You are ready to talk n number of times without any hesitation. So that's my proposal on this. Anyway, whatever I'm saying is a proposal. You can modify, you can actually accept or reject that, because finally you are doing the real business. I'm just commenting on that. I just go further. Often people use generic word, company policy, right? While you can call a bluff, sorry, and toughness on the logical matters, how do you address abstract issues like company policy? Uh, okay, you can play here very well. Company policy, and if you have gone to somebody, and I will now come to that particular point. That particular point is that I have given you only my name, because in negotiation, when I'm going to meet anybody, I should and prepare. I should have in-depth information about the other person. I will tell you a classic case wherein I was actually negotiating for a relationship issue between a husband and wife. There was a conflict and I was negotiating. And what has happened, from the other side, that ladies brothers have come. And from the husband side, I was to go. And when I was discussing this, I was having up-to-date information about the brothers. I've gone through social media, I've gone to the LinkedIn, I've gone to this, whatever they have done in their life. And not only that, from their lives, even I could predict the personalities. Sandeep has done XYZ in his life is a mere fact of information. Can you predict Sandeep's personality from that? Then you are on a stronger wicket. So one has to go into, and those sort of negotiations, one has to be really prepared. And if you are prepared on that, then you can play. Now, coming to the company policy, sorry, I just drifted away. Now, company policy, when somebody is going to talk to me, have I gone through their company policy? Is it available? Is it in the public domain? May or may not be. If it is not, their vision, mission, objectives will be in the public domain. Definitely, any good company will have it. Now you have to talk about that. Yes, this is a company policy. Is there a contradiction with your own vision and mission? Your own things, right? Many times people, when they give these excuses, they want to shut you up. But when you have got a lot of information, you are trying to talk on that, he understands it's a waste of time now. So he will say that, no, company, that's okay. I don't want to discuss about how company policy is contradicting with vision mission. I'm not discussing that. Actually, I have got limitation or XYZ. Let the real reasons come out. And then you address that. He may have a problem because somebody has given him a dictate. Maybe do not assume that the person who is sitting in front of you is in charge of that negotiation. He may not be. Or somebody else is sitting in front of you. And if he has been given a dictate that you do this thing, he will say, no, I can agree. But, sir, now you get, there is a somebody else behind it. They said, no problem. You can set up my meeting with him. I would like to talk to him, or I will on my own, I will set up my meeting with him. Now, when you are actually piercing through that something which is kept in front of you as a veil, and you are actually piercing through that and reaching to the right person. I have heard this. I am not any information about, but Dr. Datta Samant, the famous union leader, or whatever you call famous, infamous is your choice. I'm not talking about. He used to always say, whenever the chief of HR used to come for negotiation, he said that, are you empowered to sign right now? If we agree. If you are not empowered, I don't want to do negotiations with you. Of course, we cannot say this in the business setup, but we are not union leaders. But what we can do is that try to find out whether he is the right guy. And if he is not, then pierce it through and go to the next level. And that's something which one has to really look at. So that's my, Shefali, that's my view on the company policy. How to convince client to give escalation fees after project duration is over and project will get extended. Project duration is over and extended. Definitely you will ask, be persistent, keep asking for it, talk to the people, and how they are not giving you is affecting the various things, etc., etc. You have to do. That's the normal. They say that perseverance, persistence is a key for negotiation. Many times people say that, "Arey, 5 times bola, abhi chodo na, mujhe kantala." No, it's not. It's again and again, again and again, again and again. So the person who will remain persistent, we will continue on that, will win. So see, client knows it. He has to pay. He is not convinced is a position which he is taking. Please understand, this is a position. Now you have to look at where I should press the buttons so that he will get into actually action over that particular issue. So that is the key on that point. Anuja's point, how service providers, as we don't sell products, can emphasize on the cost of service that we are better than others, as he or she going to provide the same. Okay. Service services goes with so many things. I actually, I remember last time I have commented on the Raji's background, which Raji is putting there on the screen, right? So what you are doing is that she's actually putting something which is relevant to her line of business, right? So you can see the her photo and background behind that. So are you communicating with everything? Are you communicating with everything which you are giving a display? Whether your appearance, whether the various accessories which you carry, generally your diary, etc., etc., etc. Are you all that is communicating what is the difference? And that is something which is very important. Keep communicating that this is what I'm giving, and this is what is something important. This is the bringing value to you. All this is something which is will help you in getting that difference, because services we can't show, product we can show. So services, if people come to my office should become a display that why great quality service has become. But many times client will not come to your office. So you go to their office, then whatever you are wearing or you are carrying or your accessories or everything should display your business. So it's not you person anymore. It's a business. That is what should be seen. And that is becomes difficult. Many times somebody said that I'm doing this business, but I'm different. No, you're no more different. Because if you have to run that business very much and successfully, this is something which is required.
Sandeep,
Next
just an
question from
extension.
Parth.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Sorry,
yeah.
sorry for interrupting. There is a question which is relevant to this question, which was posted earlier in the group, not in the group, in the Google form, and it was, how to control the competition from undercutting. So this is like again a comparison, basically, because they are also offering the same services, we are also offering the same services. So how to control the competition from undercutting?
And Sandeep,
Yeah.
one more question on the same topic also is there, which says that because we are in a service industry, like you said, it's an intangible thing, right? It's not a product that people can see as a tangible thing. So how do you make them realize the value we bring to the table compared to our competitors? So these two questions are attached to that one question.
Yeah. As I have told you earlier, that when you meet the client first time, what have you done that others will get ruled out? Think about it. Many times we go there as one of the bidder. Don't go. He may be calling you as one of the bidder, but you have to go there and communicate through your appearance, through your talks, through your words, through your accessories, whatever demo, PPT, whatever you are showing. That should give the message that you are totally different. If that message is gone, then yes, the client is yours. Now it's the formality. Help him to close the formalities. Our problem is that they call us as one of the bidder and we go as one of the bidder. Then I have accepted that I will have to face competition. Now, already I'm setting a narrative that somebody is doing cost cutting. He is going to kill you here, 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 or he is going to make your work suffer in this area, this area, this area, this area. All this I have already injected in the client's mind. Now, suppose you don't get that order and it goes to your rival or competitor or whoever. Now, client, what he will do, he has got all the pointers that these are the things the other party will do, right? And when he will do certain clauses in the contract to safeguard himself. Now, in that case, the other party who has given a lower quote and done cost cutting, now he will realize that because of that, I'm losing money. And if he gets losses, then only it will happen only one time. Thereafter, it will not happen. So you have to ensure. Many times this has to be done. Many times you have to do it that you educate the client to such a level that no such type of bidders will get encouraged. And that's the job. So that's the job. What we look at it that we have to just give a reasoning. No, we are not going for arguments. We are not going for any logics to be given. What we are going for is I'm actually ensuring well-being of the client. I'm going to take him on the right path. I'm going to work on the education part of it. And therefore, I'm giving him a lot of information like this. And when I'm saying that you don't give a order to me, but you take care of this. When he understands you're talking a different language, definitely he will get attracted towards your business rather than somebody else's business. So that's my proposal on this. Any counters are welcome. You don't need not accept everything what I say. You can say, sir, it is absolutely false or it's not good. Something else has to be done, please. Because then we will actually add value to our
Sandeep,
discussion.
okay, so the counter is that many a times when you are negotiating or when you are discussing this, the party who is discussing it with you is not the final authority.
Yeah.
Yeah, because generally now the organizations are big. Then what they do is they go for comparative statements, and then it is the management who will approve on whom to give the job. Generally, it is given to the L1. This is the normal trend which happens in construction industry as such. So at that time, even if you're putting all these points across, maybe those people are not ready to convey, or they are not confident enough to convey these points across to the management, and then it is your loss. I know what you said is that, further they will, the competition will lose, and then they will be careful in the next project. But then at least the project period has gone, 3 years or 4 years has gone, and you have already lost on a job. Maybe you have lost on a client also. So how to tackle such kind of problems?
Okay. In that case, whether my network is broad enough and is spreading over the seniors within that organization is the question mark. And that is something one has to look at. So suppose I'm meeting a officer, but definitely I know that I know the manager, I know the vice president within the organization. Not only that, I know even the board of directors there. Do I have this type of arrangement? And today we have all the tools, LinkedIn and all that we are available to us. Do we have that? So you already had a session from somebody that on the networking. Now networking should, and when he knows that you are so well connected, he will not take a chance, because everybody works on a fear in the organization that somebody has told you and you have ignored that point. So that chance he will not take. And therefore you have to not only create the network, display the network. That's more important. And not only that, sometimes use the network. So that making the network, displaying the network and using sometimes display level will satisfy your objective. Sometimes you have to use it. And when this is happening, then, and never say that if you don't do this, I will go to higher ups. No, if you want any help, I can even request the higher ups to support you. That's the language. I'm not working against anybody here. So that is what we are talking about. So and I will tell you, I even because I'm in the social work, there are many people who had the criminal cases against them, which was fraudulently done. They approached me, and I have approached to the top bosses in police, including commissioner, and we could resolve it to the, because the network. And if you have, I'm talking about a situation where people works only on orders, right? It's not like a private sector. Private sector, yes, are less democratic, but police forces are more autocratic than even private sector. So that's sort of a thing one has to look at, and one has to work on this particular. Does it going well with you? Just check.
I had one question.
Pardon?
I had
to add to whatever you said, Shobha here. So my question was, can an industry benchmark? I'm just countering what you just mentioned. We are talking of negotiation with the client, but then as a fraternity, the consulting fraternity, can an industry benchmark be set for consulting? Because it is not a commodity, but it is treated. This is a very noble profession, and so many times we see that we will offer you structures as a consulting and give MEP services free. I think this one. And also when there is a huge disparity in terms of the pricing that is given, for example, somebody offers to give it at 40 paise per square feet and, goes up to 7 rupees or 8 rupees, then of course, whatever USPs people try to tell, it becomes very difficult because people would already look at L1 because everybody comes with their USPs and try to make it very nice. And this one. Yes, there may be precedents. People will definitely do that. So then how do we handle this? Can an industry benchmark be set in terms of this pricing for the fraternity so that all of us are like, okay, then maybe some of the USPs is what dictates final negotiations.
Yes. Shobha, if you look at this particular question, if I'm creating a benchmark, uh, if I'm creating benchmark, then I'm saying that two things are comparable. There is a benchmark and against which something can be compared. But if I'm saying that my services are special, I don't want benchmarks. I don't want benchmarks. One has to look at. So what strategy would like to take? That benchmark-based strategy will say that something is measured and then something else is comparable with that. And this is my reference point. So whenever we talk about benchmarks, we are talking about comparison with something else. And then some standard or something reference point will coming in. But if I'm saying that my services are special and they don't need, then you have to take a different strategy. That's first point I would like to emphasize. Now, if you look at the not to pay for services is what is a common problem in our type of society. We feel that services are free. किसी ने time दे दिया तो क्या हुआ, है ना? खुद का time दिया तो क्या हुआ? That is a mindset which is. Now, can I do something like this when I go for the meetings with the client? Can you quote some of the examples that, or can you talk about how the services needs to be respected, how the services has to be done? You quote about something which is not related to that business, but wherein you taken services of somebody else, not related to your business, and you paid for it. Mention about that. Please understand the client you have to do continuously sanskaras. Otherwise, he will go with his own mindset. And if his mindset is not conducive to you, more sanskaras is required. Nothing else can be done. So go on working on that. It will take some time, but it will give you some benefits and it will come to that. Also, this is the good part of it. There is a bad part of it, which I will tell you. Another very important point is that when services are not paid, what happens and what sort of problems can come in, right? So that is a fear part of it that also you need to propagate. If you are propagating this, both the things, that good part of it and the bad part of it, if you do this, what is the benefit? If you don't do this, what are the losses? And start it from the beginning. Don't try to, if I have got an exam tomorrow actually, and that's why I was worried whether I can take this session today. But then for that exam, I'm not preparing today, right? I started preparing from 2 months backward, right? So one has to really not to try to answer a question when it gets raised. Actually prepare for the question beforehand. And that's something which is very, very important, I feel. Shobha, I don't know whether I have answered your question. You can tell me.
Thank you for the clarification. But yeah, like you told, there are pros and cons. My this one of setting up a benchmark was, not stoop down to too low levels and, lose out on that competition. That's it.
Yeah. Another one more thing, very good, because you spoke, I got some time to think about it, and there's one more addition. Always emphasis on, suppose a real estate firm is talking to you that we want to reach to this height or that height. There's something, some dreams they will have. Now, whenever you are talking, are you connecting with those dreams? If you are not connecting, you're just talking about this is the saving which will happen. I will tell you a very classic case. I was working with a developer, and we had we had an ERP provider, right? And that ERP was not working, and we paid some amount initially, and afterwards, what has happened is that uh, he worked for a few days, and he as well found that we are also not taking much interest, and therefore he also lost his interest in that ERP implementation, and then it was just there. Somebody was making some orders, sometimes not making orders, and it was going on. When that responsibility came to me, we had a meeting. And in that meeting, then the ERP provider has come. I called our marketing guys, and they projected in that meeting what this real estate firm can be in the time to come. And we talked to him that if we will be at that level, where you would be if you do this successful implementation. I will tell you, their owner said that I will put my people right now, and I'm not going to charge a single rupee extra. Now, what we have done is that we actually able to show him the big picture. Many times we are not able to show the big picture. Typically, whenever negotiations happen, what happens is that whether it is between the employer, whether it is between the contractor and the client, the negotiations happen is that if you give me 1 rupee, I will be able to do this. But if you don't give me 1 rupee, I will be at a loser. So what we talk about, two-person zero-sum game. If you give me 1 rupee, then you are losing 1 rupee. I'm getting 1 rupee, then I'm able to do something, or I'm not able to. So we are talking about two-person zero-sum game. If we change this, and then we say that whether I'm there or not, you have to do this, because if you do this, then your vision, mission, your dreams, objectives are going to meet. And I'll tell you many times, what is the most precious for anybody is his dreams. If you connect it with the dreams, then the game will be different. So can you do that? Just check. Many times we don't talk about. And in the last session, what Raji was mentioning about, therefore you have to get into his mindset. And that is what the empathy we are talking. Empathy means not sympathy. Sympathy means that I feel sorry, you are in a problem. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not feeling sorry or something. I get into your shoes to capture your thought process, not my thought process in your shoes. And if you get that thought process, then you can touch him on those points. And if you can touch him on those points, he will be agreeing to, or he will tell you, these are the obstacles. If you actually help me out in this, probably I can do what you are trying to tell. And his obstacle can be his senior, his obstacle can be some regulation, its obstacle can be anything. Then you go to the real, at least to that level, understanding the real cause, you should be able to progress. If you are progressing up to the real cause, then working on that, it will be quite easier. That's my proposal on this particular thing.
I have one question.
Uh,
It's actually a situation I think we spoke about just some minutes ago on how when you're negotiating, the person on the other end of the table says your competitor is given this quote or they are so much lower, kind of a thing. So I wanted to share one experience and get some feedback. When I had this situation, I had two things that I said. One was that I do not want to know what my competitor is doing. I'm talking about what I'm doing. And if you have questions about what I'm doing, why don't you talk to your competitor who has hired me? So is this a good way to approach it or not?
Whether it worked.
It worked. I
Okay.
didn't get any more questions on what my
Okay.
competitor was
So
doing.
actually, I always remember that Birbal Akbar story. So he says, which weapon is the best? And Birbal says, the weapon which is in your hand is the best weapon, right? So, and what happened, the Akbar didn't like his answer. And what he does is, on one day when Birbal is coming from his home to the court, he sends elephant on that this thing with which is actually given a lot of alcohol so that the Birbal will get a problem. And Birbal saws a dog around and he lifts that dog and throws on the elephant, and dog grips the head of the elephant, and elephant gets frightened because of that, and he goes back. So the dog became the weapon there. So one has to understand the weapon in your hand in which works is the best. But in general, what I would have done, I would have definitely gone into the details of this thing, because I'm not negotiating only that deal. I want to negotiate further, and I may have a series of negotiations for subsequent deals. And what my competitors are doing, I want to know. I want to know. Always, I want to know. For me, it's an learning. So definitely, if it has worked, fine. Go. Don't worry about it. It is done. That's great.
But
But
but once they appoint you, because in this situation it worked, they appointed us. Then you can find out more because you're in the comfort zone with the client. Then you can find out more about the competitor. Till you are not in their comfort zone, they may not want to share also.
Okay, I'll tell you a very classic stage. You should be confident not after you have been appointed, first of all. I am not in line with that. Actually, when I started my this NGO, right, we said that enabling needy in problem solving, right? So that is our motto. Now, problems can be n number of types, right? So how can you enable any needy in the problem solving? So that's the question. And many people had that question in their mind when I started the NGO. But I never had that question in my mind. I was confident. So first thing is that you should have a confidence that, yes, I will be there. I will be there. It's irrespective of anything. And even if I lose a particular thing, my confidence cannot be. I recall one of the discussion with what is that? Alliance, not Alliance International. There is a Giants International. We have been to their office and we were discussing, and they said that, how can we help you? I said, no, I came here to help you, not, I don't want any help from you. So a tiny NGO like Deeparchan is telling the Giant International, I came to help you. So that confidence level you should always maintain. So keep that. What I am saying is that get the information as much. It is may not be helpful to you in that particular situation, but it can be helpful to you in any other situation. It can be helpful. The same competitor must be quoting elsewhere also, and he will be your competitor elsewhere. So if you are getting something, please be happy about it. Yeah. So I will say that, oh yes, I would like to. Ma'am, many times you can see, you can think about our, what is that, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, right? They're negotiating contracts for years, right? So if it is Kashmir or if it is anything, they are going on. And they will clinch a deal when it is appropriate to them, but they will not clinch the deal. So somebody may say that after 20 years of negotiation, what to negotiate now? Or after 30, 40 years of negotiations, what is to negotiate now on Kashmir or any other issue? But look at them. Look at them. They will go on. They'll go on discussing. I'm not saying that you go for 20 years or 30 years, but that patience and that information seeking approach we should inculcate. If we inculcate that, you will get benefited somewhere else. If the situation can, sometimes you have to close by simply what you have given the answer and closes and does, and it worked for you, fine, be happy about it, don't worry about it. But think about it, getting the information. More the information is the power. That's my proposal on this particular thing.
Sandeep, since you mentioned that Mufai is, dealing with this for long time also. So there are two questions which are over here. So the first question is that if we are negotiating for rate contract for a fixed time period, so the fixed time period can be, multiple years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So is there any specific way to negotiate? And the second question is somewhere, where you want to grow with the client, and hence, on a long-term basis, how do you convince the client to give that additional rate or additional fees to you? So these are two different questions, but these are related to, long-term contracts or, some.
First of all, somebody wants to do a long-term contract with you. It's a good thing. It's not a problem. So now the dilemma in any contractor's mind is that what will happen to my rates? And if client is inflexible about the rates, then there will be a problem that tomorrow the cost goes up or something will be. Somebody makes a rate contract with you, he becomes dependent on you. So that dependency we should encourage. That's something you are actually balancing out the power equations. That's one thing. Secondly, when I'm negotiating, can I think about the conditions, that what conditions may come in and which will demand for increase in the cost, etc. And those conditions are we incorporating? So it is more of your vision, right? A vision and how you look at the business, how wider and longer you can look at the business, that will come into play. If you are able to put the right terms, conditions, I think your job is more or less done. Only issues may come. Somebody doesn't want to follow those terms and conditions, then what? So, but comparatively a smaller issue. But if you are not able to foresee the problems which can come in, and you get into a contract and that may not work. So that's something which we had to look at there. And if you can think about as well, you need to insert some of the clauses which will look harmless, but at times they will come to your rescue. That's something very important. And if they're looking harmless and they come to your rescue, if the situation is not so conducive afterwards, you can use those and escape out of the problem. So that's something one has to follow. So one is really has to get into these issues, but it is more of seeing future rather than the negotiation. I say negotiation will come only in the case when he says, no, I'm not going to follow. This is a condition, but I'm not. Then it comes into that particular domain. Otherwise, if you are seeing it well and you are seeing all the permutation combination, probably you can capture that those situations. There's another question. The senior management connect, is it essential before bid negotiation? It's good. We said that networking is good, so it's good. Do not allow it to become your hurdle. Many times what happens is that some of the senior management guys are such that their lower levels will negotiate for 10% discount, 20% discount, and they will say that I will get you last 5% extra. And so that's a problem. Generally, egoist bosses are good to manage. Non-egoists are difficult to manage. So think about it. If they are egoist also, how are you going to manage? Many times people complain about their boss is very dominating and this and that. But if the senior management person is like that, then it's easier to manage. And you have to think about the ways and means. So that's something one has to look into. That's about senior management connect is about. How to negotiate long-term contracts.
Sorry, Sandeep. I am in between because we missed one question, which is very similar to this. And that question is like, many times people become emotional or personal. How do you step away from that zone where the other side of the table is making it an ego issue?
Ego issues are very easy to handle. Ego issues are somebody is making ego issue. No? I'll tell you. In one of the situation in my present employment, I did certain acts. So, so acts which are actually not in line with the top management, and because I have done that, then the management was very angry, or the person who is, it means the person who is heading that is very angry, and there was a communication which came to me through that things are not going well. Now, in that case, it's an emotional issue. It can be tackled emotionally. So a very nice worded confession letter solved the problem immediately. Now, what happens when a person is emotional? I have to handle his emotions. And if I can handle his emotions by whatever ways, right, I can sort it out. If he is not emotional, he will say that real discount de do, services badhao. Oh, that will be a cost to me. Emotions are easier to tackle. So generally we look at it, we want to behave as a rational individual. Why you want to behave as a rational individual? He wants a surrender from you. Give a surrender in a different form. That can satisfy the ego of that person and get out of it. Rather than he wants to be emotional and you want to be a rational human being and go on clashing. Why? Not necessary, right? You be rational, but react or respond emotionally and sort it out. So this is something, of course, when you guys come across a cases, please let me know. I will tell you at that point what is exactly to be done. Sometimes a letter, confession letter, sometimes words, sometimes some act that can actually clear. It's very easy. Many times we are trying to do is rationally, and because of that, the whole confusion happened. And we say that why he is behaving like that. There are certain questions, whether client is renegotiating or clients, there's some questions which you are saying. Yes, let him negotiate. What he is going to do or she is going to do, I do not have any control. But what I'm going to do, I should have full control. What we miss out, we become judgmental about the client. He is doing this, he is doing that, that is right, that is wrong. No, we need not. Is that like that? I have to find out a root cause. I have to address the causes. I have to find out the ways to influence the causes. That's all my job is. When I understand my job, then there is no feeling about, no, this is good, this is bad, etc., etc. Now, this is a situation. First, accept this is a situation. Now, how should I deal with this? That makes the life simple. So, this is the problem which people feel, right?
Yeah.
I think
Sandeep,
there was a
just
question from Anusha on the rate contract, but I have answered on rate contract. Yes, somebody want to speak.
yeah, I'm Raji here. They're just saying there is another. Now we talked about emotional part, but there are two, three questions where people are saying the client only wants to talk about cost. He's only talking numbers. We are in the service industry. We know the project well. We know what we bring to the table, but he's not ready to listen because he's only worried about the cost. So there are similar questions on that cost negotiation. So how do we bring him to the table and make him realize that we bring more to the table and that's why we need this cost and he can't be negotiating with us on a number?
See, as our previous conversations we talked about, before they come to the cost, right? Generally, people come to the cost as a last part. And if not, what we should try is that they should come to the cost as a last part only. That is what we should try. So before that, whatever we are doing is actually establishing, if I give you a higher cost, you should be able to accept it. That option I'm working. And for that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds of discussions will, I mean, generally technical rounds will go through all those levels of discussion. If 5 rounds I'm not able to establish that, then I'm deserve to get lesser cost only. Right? So then there's this basic problem in my functioning. So what I'm saying is that these rounds I have to establish this. Once I have established, probably I will say X, he will immediately recall, Arey, yaar, this fellow has given me 5 reinforcement on this particular X. So he will not be ready to discuss on that. So why the cost, right cost paying is important. One of the discussion with one of the employer, I will tell you, is that there was a discussion which was going on between employer and employees. Employees are saying that higher money is required, and employer is saying that we have to see whether we afford or how the business will be, etc., etc. And somewhere people drag me into that discussion, right? So when I entered it, so first of all, I said that let us not look at it as an employer-employee issue. I'm not looking at it. As a company, if you want to be a better, you want to reach to the goals which you want to reach, you have to pay higher. And when you pay higher, do not assume that that higher pay is coming to the same employees. Probably you will change the employees. You will get better employees. And that higher pay is going to help you in this way. So the money which is going out is helping me to reach the objectives. That was the whole day. As long as I'm looking at it, employee versus employer or contractor versus client, then the game is different. We have to change the game. And you will find that most of the companies will try to bring it to the old game, contractor versus client. Can you change the game? Is the key. One of the negotiation, winning, losing is okay. That's one part. But can you change the game and take it to that level? Then they will remember, oh, we have to go with Raji. She has got that vision about our company. So are you, okay, I'll tell you a certain thing that whenever there was hotel this entrepreneur who was running hotels, hospitality business. And what he was doing, he said that in my hotel, I sit with the lowest level of employee and I talk to them what are their goals. So one employee said that it's a very lower level in the salaries, that he said that he want to take to his parents to Char Dham Yatra or something. So then he said that thereafter I said that we let us do these things, and in the third year you will be able to take your parents to the Char Dham Yatra. Now, when he is actually talking about what he has done, he has actually put the corporate goals aside, and he said that now I have connected that individual's goals with his performance. And now he is performing for his individual goals. Now his dedication is much higher. And yes, as per the commitment, it has happened at third year. He went to the Char Dham Yatra with his parents and he was very happy about it. Now that employee is very much connected to that particular employer. Now, same thing, can we not translate back to the clients? Like if you do this, you are achieving this. Actually, we don't speak. They give us a narrow spectrum and we talk into that narrow spectrum. You are one of the bidder. You are the one of the bidder only for this package. We take that role. Do not accept that role. Do not accept doesn't mean you will say show an agitation or something of that kind, but you have to slowly progress that you are a co-maker with him, or you are somebody who is actually a well-wisher of the whole thing, and you are going to do services. We are not able to give that confidence to our clients, and then we remain limited within that small spectrum. That is what my say on this. Yes, please go ahead. There's a question. Yeah, please.
Anuja, you asked whether you answered her. So she has written that my question is on long-term client to negotiate with increase in charges. Anuja, if you want to elaborate further, please elaborate to your question exactly.
Hi, hello.
Yeah.
My question is actually you said that my question was on the rate contract, but my question was on how to deal or how to negotiate with the client who are with us since long term and they are having little bit आप बोल सकते हैं आदत हो जाती है किसी चीज की. So after a certain change in market rate or something like that, how can we tell them that the rates have changed? Now we need the increased price as well because they are working with us since we are working with us since say 10 years or something like that. So how to handle that type of negotiation?
Okay. Anuja, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How do we tell our kids to study? One way is that give them some incentives and say that if you do that, then we will give you this, etc., etc. Another way is that convince them that this is in their interest, and if he studies, that's something he's not doing for you. So as long as you are keeping an external incentive, it always becomes a tougher, because incentive which you have to every time offer, every time do something. So if he is with a long-term association with you, doing certain things are in the interest of that long-term association, which is in the interest of that growth of that company. Can you take that? So you talk as if you are an insider. Don't think that you are an outsider, and then you are long-term relationship means what? You are as good as an insider, correct? So when you are actually doing in that way, it helps. If you talk about that, okay, if you don't do this, then our relationship and this and that, it will not work. Or you may also have the fear that long-term relationship may break. And because of that, you will not be able to voice about this. But if you look at this, I'm in a long-term relationship with this client, and because I'm long-term into his well-being is my concern, and because of that well-being, if he does these things, then that well-being is ensured. If I'm talking in that way, the whole game changes.
Yeah, but the thing is
But
that
what?
only sometimes it so happen they feel like that you are the per team member. Why you are telling us to increase all these things? And just I wanted to elaborate that the market price has changed. So
Huh.
being even if we are the team member, we are working since so long, but things are changed. And my employees, my every pays are increasing. That is why we are asking for the increase in the rates. So that
Correct.
time they say, feel that you're working with us in so long, so why you need it right now? So this way it happens with us so many times.
The quantum of business and rate of the business, right? Their association is not always the same. Means if the quantum of business increases, rate should decrease, and rate should decrease to this extent. And the duration of business is long term, then you are not suffering with this. This has to be told. This has to be again and again told, again and again done. People actually do not listen words, they listen to their interest, right? So many times we feel that they are listening our words, they are not listening your words, they are listening to their interest, and therefore we have to connect it somewhere to their interest. Another thing is that do not consider any organization as a homogeneous thing. The organization generally has got multiple thought processes which are going in. There are multiple players in the organization, and one has to really work that if somebody is bit on one side, can you actually press buttons elsewhere? And in that is also in order to help the person, right? It's not that to actually complain against him. So one has to really work out, and I was actually there's another example, but I'll take it later. So if you are doing this, then you can break through. Yes, people will put the pressure backward, saying that no, you are long term, but long term is one part. Another thing is that why that increase, and of course I need not talk about that because you know it. You must be suffering through that, and say that very clearly. One more thing which we should have in negotiation is at any point of time, we should be able to say that, sorry, I walk out. That power, I'm not saying exercise the power. That power should be with you. And that for that power, you have to look for the alternatives. So you may have a long-term contract with anybody, etc., but you should also have a power, right? That I will tell you classic case. I'm at the age of where I can retire now in some time, right? And still, my management knows I get offers from various universities. And this is something your power is. You should never, whatever time it may be, that you should have an alternatives to your uh, rescue. If you don't have alternatives, then thoda mushkil hai, right? So that is a very important part of the game. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so
I
much.
addressed your question. I don't know.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much.
Sandeep, there
Yeah.
are, sorry to butt in, there are two questions which are similar or on similar tone in the sense Yogesh is asking, sometimes you want that project because it is important for your company. And so you go for the negotiations, you are desperate to take it, but you don't want to show it. So one trick for that, and Abuli is asked, like sometimes you have to take projects for the prestige or the name associated with the project, even if their rate is less. So how do we optimize or how do we maximize these two situations?
Okay. First of all, you want it that once you decide that you want this, right? It will appear on your face. Because you know why human beings have got face? That face is for expression of the feelings. So the moment it will be very difficult for you that some or other indication will come from your side, which generally we call it as a leakage, that you want this project. So first, if when you really want this project, convince yourself, if I don't get, no issues. And that you have to work with yourself. Many times we don't work with them. We say that, how do I convince others? But how are you going to convince yourself? First, convince yourself. And then if you go and play with the people, it will work. But if you have this in mind, it will come out. It will come out. And other side also, professional negotiators are sitting. They will make out. Yes, this fellow has this thing. Typically, uh, uh, entire your focus should be why the other fellow wants me, rather than why I want this project. Many times we go to the negotiation table that I want this project, I will do this, this is for that, I will give the best price, this, that. No, keep it out. Why he wants me in this? Even as a bidder, why he wants me? Try to find out. You get into his mind. And if you are able to do it, then once you understand his mind, then you can play with it. But what we are doing is that why I want this project, what is that I can do for it? So you have prepared the entire thing from your perspective. Don't do it. Do it from his perspective. Read his mind. If you do that, then whole game changes. Then whole game changes. And that's something which we have to do.
This is fabulous. Yeah, this advice is one of the best, actually a gem of an advice for us to actually change how we think about when we get into negotiation. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Hema had a question. When we negotiate rate contract on a fixed time period, is this specific? See, one thing is that the technique of negotiation, as we have talked, we gone through the various scattered points. One is that I recall one of the discussion there where the party went on telling me something, and they selected me as a candidate, the best candidate. So initially I tried to talk, and I was trying to talk. What has happened is that I find that I found that the other party wants to talk. He wants to be listened. And what I'm doing is that I'm trying to tell him something. So I remaining once I initial 2 minutes I get that understanding, I just kept quiet. The other side talked, other side decided to select me. Fine, it's a wonderful way of negotiation that you need not have to put efforts and get selected. So look at it. What are his drivers? And that's one of. So we talked about the active listening, and what the points which we are taking here are applicable universally. So one is active listening. We talked about empathy a lot. We talked about empathy, and empathy is not thinking from your point of view, his point of view, thinking from his point of view, his point of view. That is empathy is about. We talked about preparation today. Preparation means when I'm going to the negotiation table, I have already understood the people whom I'm going to interact. And that is why we had said no introduction. First, find out who is that fellow who is going to come. Is he really capable of talking on negotiation, or is somebody who is just coming and talking some nonsense. So that part you have to actually keep your mind open, so that what will happen, you will be always analyzing what is happening. And what happens is the negotiation situation is not static. They will say this. There are certain changes which will be happening during the process. There pulls and pressures which will be visible within their organization. The person who is negotiating with you may be under tremendous pressure to finalize that deal on that day. And maybe he has got other bidders, but he doesn't have time. So are you able to measure that? He wants lower price, but he doesn't have time now. And because of that, he will be able to formulate a contract which will show the cost is X, but there are other clauses by which you are able to take it out X plus delta. And he is trying to satisfy you and trying to satisfy his target dates. So look at what are his pressure points. We don't look at what are your remaining throughout very flexible, because I'm going with an open mind. I'm not actually deciding that this is what it will be. He will say this, I will say this. He will say this, I will say this. No, I am very open. So I will going on judging what he talks, what he gives, what new things are coming up, etc., etc. I'm always watchful. So this is what we can talk about. I think Amita is witness to that negotiation. Actually, we did with. I avoided all Tata examples because we had a negotiation with our elder brother, that is another big Tata Group company, and in that meeting, and we have not gone there with some plan prepared and all that. We happened to be in that meeting. And there was a legal guy, and people used to say that he's very connected to the top guys. And he, from our side, there was not legal. We are a smaller company. And he was telling something. My job was to just raise an objection to whatever he says. And one particular point, he got irritated and he said that, are you a lawyer? How can you object to my? I will not give any explanations to you. And that was actually the point of climax where we actually got a clear penetration in that. So when he got angry, his attention from the contract was actually got drifted. And my colleagues, who Amita and other people, were trying to get the contract in their favor. And we were working very well as a team. So one guy is like a football player, the top player, you will actually try to corner him, and other players will make the goal. So that is what we played. So this is what one has to understand. The situation is dynamic. The company may have some saying, but the people there may be playing it differently. They have their own pushes and pull. And same thing which will be applicable in monopolistic buying. The company may be in a monopolistic situation, but what about people? People are in a different situation. And that is, if we are able to grasp, then I think we are able to make the great negotiation. And negotiation is not to make him lose. I'm not going to lose make somebody lose. I'm here making him also win. I'm saying this, and that is my normal feeling about. So that's what we need to do about. Yes.
Hmm. So Nalini had one question. Sorry, Ranjan. Yeah, Ranjan, go. Sorry.
I had a question. Recently we had a conversation with a client wherein the negotiation, the client was not picking up the call. We were not able to understand the emotional side or the decision maker side. The purchase team was just contacting us on email. They were not really willing to contact us on calls. So it was all email conversation. And they were very much, as you said, when the client is emotional, we can work on it, but when they are very much rational, and specifically in emails, it becomes more rational because we are not really able to understand the side of the client. So they typically asked us very upfront that, if you are going to match this price, only then we can work forward, and give us your final no regret price. And it was a really good order, but then we could not match that price. And I always say, like, our company we are not the price leaders in the market, but we offer a lot of benefits and value addition to our products. We are into furniture products. So, but it became very difficult on mail. So how to deal with such kind of situation when the conversation is completely on mail?
Do you know what is the best way to stop anybody on any path? Anybody is going on any path. Best way to stop is not to object. Best way to stop is ask a question. Suppose,
Okay.
for example, he says that please give us a no regret price, right?
Hmm.
Huh?
Hmm.
So you understood it, correct?
Right.
Person like me will say that, no, I have not understood. Can you please clarify what do you mean by no regret price? The question
Okay.
may be funny, right?
Yeah.
Or question
Yeah.
may look absurd, but the question has got a power to stop somebody. And then he gets into an explanation mode.
Okay.
And can you take him to the explanation mode is the game.
Okay.
I just talked about the regret price or whatever. You can
Mhm.
capture something from his email and make a question and make a meeting essential if you want to
Okay.
read,
Right. Right.
right? So
Okay.
sometimes one can do that drop in.
We asked them
And
on mail if they are willing to, like, if we can have a meeting, but then there was even there was no response on that. So this was completely where I could not understand that how to respond. So when you
yes,
said that,
without
yeah,
appointment drop in is another. Of course, it's a
okay,
client is
yeah,
abroad and all that is there are cost issues. I can understand, but if not, just drop in. The
I
reception
think,
tells
yeah,
you lot many information about your client. The reception, even if he doesn't meet you.
okay,
Yeah. What our problem is that we have gone into that I want an appointment to go to somewhere.
hmm,
Appointment is made necessary because somebody doesn't want people coming in and forming a queue in his premises. So he wants he follows the appointment system. That is what management language is about, right?
right,
So
right,
I have no issues. I may go in and I will just observe.
right. I could have done that, yeah. I did not do that. That's
Yes. So
great
so the,
learning, because though the office was in Ahmedabad, I could have traveled and met without
no.
appointment also.
Yeah, or
Hmm.
suppose you're going to Ahmedabad for some other clients that time, if you don't want to incur extra cost or time or, but penetrate.
Okay, got it.
Yes, penetrate. चेहरे पे जो दिखता है ना वो ये वर्ड्स में नहीं दिखता है actually that is the problem.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much.
Sandeep, there is one very peculiar question. So we have got a Vastu consultant amongst us. Okay, so what in her case, it is not money, but time is a factor of negotiation. So I'm just reading out her question. In my case, not money, but time is the factor for negotiation. I'm a Vastu consultant and my clients always wants me to visit today or tomorrow by saying this is a very auspicious day or time, or they have only 2 days time to finalize the property. Many times for me, it is not possible to visit on the same day due to prior appointments or geographical barriers. So if I say no, it is, there are chances of losing that client. So how to deal with this?
Okay.
How to convince the client?
Yeah. Vastu consultant, right?
Parul, yeah.
Yeah. Now, when you are talking about the Vastu consultant or something, you are talking about something which is related to the faith and belief of the person, right? People may object to my proposals, but still, faith and belief. And faith and beliefs can be countered by another faith and belief rather than the rational argument, right? So, and, that is what one has to play. For example, you find that Tuesday is something day available with you and he's calling you on Sunday, then tell why Tuesday is more auspicious. I'm sorry, but this is this thing. And that is something you have to really work on. So, and there are a lot of things. Means he might have got somebody's advice, and that is why he's calling you on Sunday because he's on auspicious day. But you can say that looking at your horoscope, this is generally auspicious. Tuesday is specifically auspicious to you. So play on that, no? Why you are Vastu consultant? Then I think.
I hope Parul has heard this because she had some issues with
Yes.
respect to some noise. Okay. So there is actually a couple of very interesting questions again over here.
Amita, take Nalini's also. She's just asked 2-3 times.
Okay.
Because hers is again another very hatke question, and I think Urvi and Nalini's are very similar.
Yeah, I was taking Urvi's question right now.
Okay.
Okay. I'll take Urvi's question, then you take Nalini's question if we can have it like that. So it is, sometimes what happens is that the client calls us for technical discussions, and after finalizing the scheme of work, we give our final price. Then the client takes the same scheme to some other party and gets the work done in a lesser value or at a lesser price. So we are at loss. So the work has been done by us, but uska phal koi aur leke jata hai. So how to deal with this kind of situations?
There are ways, of course, legally you can deal, but I will not talk about legal part of it because there will be certain hassles you will have to go through. But if it is issues like that, and if the client is big and they have a chief ethics officer or somebody, you can actually the person who is dealing there, right? So you can give him a feel that things can go up to that as well. So those sort of tools you can use, but of course I will not talk about that. Now, when you are giving the scheme to this thing, keep certain things out from that. And those things should be very important that somebody wants to practice. There will be big issues. So I will discuss, etc., etc., etc. When they ask for a scheme, I will surrender a scheme as well. But I will keep certain details out of it. Can I do this? Think about it. If you can keep those details out, somebody wants to just hand it over to somebody to do it at a lower cost, then it will. And if he gets somebody that who will complete the scheme, then it will be costly affair to him. Then it is better that he should come to you. So those details, take it out from that scheme and submit and play with that unless and until the last that you get awarded. So keep some sort of an what I will say safety gears for you on that, so that can be a good way of being.
Okay. Yes. So now Nalini's question. So Nalini is a non-technical person and she is into form work actually. She's a form work manufacturer. So her question is that, being a non-technical person, how do I handle technical negotiations?
Actually, it's simple to handle technical negotiations if you are non-tech. What is your weakness? Use it as a strength. Okay. You are not a technical person, so that's your weakness. Use it as a strength. And make others go on explaining you. In that case, they will talk more.
Yeah.
And in negotiation, we want other side to talk more. We only want that that exact point when he's the weaker spot will come, and that is the time he will clinch the deal. And to that, he should go on displaying whatever his thoughts are, whatever these things are, calculations are, and you can always cross-validate it with your team because you have a team, right?
Correct.
So if you are a non-technical, it's good because if I'm a technical, he said, please agree on the across the table, na?
Right.
Please, I have got an option to take it back. So it is my strength. It is never my weakness.
Okay.
So be happy that you are non-technical.
Thank you.
Thank you for the answer.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sandeep ji.
Yes.
Okay. Another question is, sometimes client has already decided his vendor or the party to whom the work has to be awarded, and
Hmm.
they just wish, they just go and ask you to submit bids just to have that L1, L2, L3. Many of the companies now have these strategies, right? They audit requirements that they need to have 3 bidders, blah, blah, blah. So how do we figure this out beforehand so that our time is not wasted?
Okay. Okay. If you are already knowing, spoil the game. Spoil the game means you should become a L1 in that case. So his game is spoiled, right? So that's what one can play. If you don't know the game, that's a problem. But if you are now we're going to work on prepare, and prepare, you will know the game. That's what I said. You should know. But if you don't know, still we say that there's 1% possibility that you don't know the game. So now look at it. Whenever we are giving quotations, we should be around L1. We should be around L1. And exact L1 is something which we may not know, but we should be around L1. That is what we should target. Whatever you need extra, that condition should fetch you that money. So what happens if it happens only based on the numbers? Then you being around L1, your selection in the top group is ensured. And if you find that being in L1 and getting the job is a problematic, you can play on the conditions and safeguard yourself. So this is the methodology for when you don't know whether that is a real inquiry or the pseudo inquiry. So if it is a pseudo inquiry, you should be able to give the offer, and which will be around L1, but there are conditions and you play on the conditions, then you can fetch extra money. So that's what one has to. So your offer is the chessboard there, which you are going to use and play on that.
Sandeep,
Sandeep,
one
but
last.
sorry,
Oh, yeah.
just an extension to this question, Raji, sorry for that.
No
So
worries.
nowadays, even the clients have become smarter, and they ask for, sign off on the general conditions, terms and conditions, and the special terms and conditions while you are submitting your bid. So what you are talking about, that you play